What is up, gamers? The Red Dragon here, and we are checking out Gunmaster Battlefield 3. So I am finally starting to kind of get the hang of this game mode, and I like it, you know. There's some things that I talked about yesterday. I put up a video, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that because yesterday I talked about some things that I would like to see changed in Gunmaster, and I also asked you guys to comment on that. Let me know what you thought about my suggestions, and you also came up with your own suggestions, which I thought were really good. So I've actually pulled out several comments, so towards the end of this video I'm going to pull those up on screen for you, and we will go over some of those things. But overall, you know, gun progression, you can do that with Gunmaster. As you play, you get to use weapons that probably a lot of you don't switch to, so it's a good way to fill out some new guns and test out some different things if you're like me and you kind of get used to using the same weapon again. So I do like switching up to different weapons. You can also get some assignments and also unlock a gun by placing in the top 5. So hopefully the tips that I give you today will help you reach that top 5 mark if you haven't already gotten there yet. So the first thing is, don't be a conservative. You have unlimited ammo, so fire away. But I have a problem, and you're going to see this problem come out right here, and you're going to see it time and time again. Even though you have unlimited ammo, and you should be firing to get out of the pistols, I have a problem with dog tags. So every time I see somebody and I have the ability to take their dog tag, it's like something just takes over me, and I have to take it. So I don't know what's going on there. It's probably not a good idea. Of course, if you do knife somebody, you demote them, which is pretty frustrating, especially, I guess, well, you know, I guess it's probably up for debate. If you're knifing people in the beginning, you're keeping them in a pistol, but at the same time, you're not getting out of your pistol. So it's kind of however you want to see it. Probably the best way to play it is to use the pistol and to shoot. You know, these are easy kills that I could be getting and work my way out of a pistol a lot faster. So it's probably best to do as I say and not as I do, and use your gun to shoot people. But yeah, here we go again. I just can't stop freaking using my knife. But anyway, I get out of that mode and game set, and I start finally shooting people here in just a little bit. So anyway, always fire away. Also, dying doesn't hurt. It doesn't do any harm in you dying. So whether you die 40 times or 10 has no bearing on the game. It's all about the kills and being able to move up. So you don't need to worry about putting yourself out there. If you see somebody, be very aggressive. And like I said, don't be conservative because you do have unlimited ammo. But remember that, you know, reloading is still a part of the game, so you do have to kind of time your shots and don't be just too crazy, just pulling the trigger every time you see somebody from long distance, spray and pray, and, you know, gotta be a little conservative, I guess, with your ammo. You also want to listen to the noises in the game, like windows shattering. A lot of times if a window's shattering, it's oftentimes not even because they're in a gunfight with somebody else. A lot of times it's just somebody spraying out a window so they can walk into another room. So if you listen for clues like that, you can get a precise pinpoint on where an enemy is, whether they're above you or right near you, and that'll clue you into their location. So I'm always looking for those sounds. I'm also always listening for gunfire with my teammates, and if I see a skull, especially on my teammate, you know, I'm running over in that direction if I'm nearby. And I guess this game is changing me, because usually when I run over to a dead teammate, I'm hoping that the enemy killed them and they're still alive and they're just a little wounded, so I can pick them apart. So this game mode does kind of change you, because unlike other Battlefield modes, as I've talked about in the past, this one you're not really playing with the team. Another thing that I do is you'll notice that I'm usually running lone wolf. So I'm running off by myself a lot of times. I don't like to follow people, and if you'll notice that I actually pick up several kills during the course of this video where I get 2 kills at one time because the enemies were running right beside each other. And so it opened it up, or they would spawn on another one or whatever, and I would easily get 2 kills. That actually happens several times during the course of this game, and happens all the time when I'm playing it usually. So don't run together. One, if you're running together, that's, you know, a drop in the percentage of the odds that you're going to be able to pick up the kill, because now you are trying to compete with another teammate for that kill. So I don't want to compete with anybody for anything. I just want to go one-on-one, and even though I may lose that battle, I'd still rather have those odds as compared to trying to go one-on-one plus trying to fight my teammate off for that, you know. Or, you know, a lot of times I talk about the teamwork in this game mode and how it doesn't really make sense that you're on a team, but in the end, whenever it comes down to the final kills and maybe the last person is trying to get a knife and they're on the opposite team, then you might could start working together and try to pile up together so you can fend that off to keep your team winning. Because if you do win as a team, your whole team, you know, gets credit for that win, so you get a little extra XP for that. But overall, it's pretty much just going out there by yourself. Also, if I notice that a group of my friendlies are in a certain area of the map, or they're kind of moving in one solid direction, I will turn around and go in the opposite direction, because that way maybe I can flank the enemies if they're up over there fighting my team. But on the other hand, you know, if you've got a pile of your teammates in one section, again, that's lowering the odds that you're going to be able to pick somebody out and be able to win that battle once you see them. I don't know what was going on with that guy. He almost didn't die. Finally was able to pick him off. Also, another thing, I don't come into the middle very often. I did right there, but usually on this particular map, I just pretty much make laps. I just run around. I'll run around the second level, I'll come down, I'll run around the first level, and I'll just keep on making rounds. But it's a good idea to stay moving. I was playing this some earlier, and you know, I got up near the top of the list and I started playing a little bit more conservative than what I was in the beginning. I sat down, I laid down and was waiting for somebody, because I believe I was using the sniper weapon, and then somebody came up and knifed me and demoted me. And so you are an easy target when you are just sitting still. So on this game mode, I don't like to sit still for very long at all. I like to look and then start moving again, and constantly stay moving, and again listen to those sound cues, because you know, you might hear somebody's footsteps coming up right behind you. So yesterday, you know, I made a suggestion, or I made a couple of suggestions that I would like to see changed in Gunmaster. So one of them was either make it free for all and get rid of the teams, or be able to bump it up to 24 players. So if you stayed on teams and you had 24 players in the room, it might be a little bit better. I don't know, I haven't tested it, but I would like to have the opportunity to test that. So we talked about that, and we also talked about the weapon rotation. I suggested that DICE come up with something where actually the server admins have the ability to set up a custom rotation, or at least mix it up where there's different variables, where maybe you start off with more powerful weapons and then pistols are near the end. So we talked about all that. I asked you guys for feedback. You definitely delivered. So let's go over some of the things that you were saying about my video yesterday. I had some people who agreed, some people who disagreed, so I'll try to mention both. I'll start off with the top rated comment. Well, actually, before we do that, let me tell you something else that actually makes me think that this game mode is changing me. Because when I see a teammate and they're in my way and I kill them, but I sometimes don't feel that bad for it, because it's like, well, sorry, you know, I don't do it on purpose, definitely not. But in hardcore mode, I guess that could be a tactic where people will start killing your teammates in order to secure, you know, a different enemy in order to shoot them. I don't know. Maybe not everybody's like that, but I'm not saying that I'm doing it on purpose. But I'm just saying I don't feel as guilty for it whenever I'm playing, you know, some of the other game modes and I do it. See right there, 2 easy kills just because they were piled up on one another. Don't pile up. So, all right, so let's get started with the top-rated comment for yesterday. Comes from M1R2S. He says, I think they should hand everyone a defibrillator so you can revive your teammates. This would give a purpose for the teams. Also, I think they should have made it so that everyone, or every time your team gets like 5 kills, then your whole team moves into a better gun so you can work together. So, I don't necessarily agree with the defibrillator idea because, one, why do I want to revive my teammates when they're competing with me, you know? So it goes back to that whole deal where you feel like you're fighting against your team. So I'm not a big fan of the defibrillator idea, but I do like the idea of trying to bring in something where you are working together as a team. So maybe you move up together as a team with your unlocks. So that's kind of cool. So, you know, obviously it would take more than 2 kills per weapon to move it up, so you would have to adjust all that, but definitely a good idea and a way to work in the team aspect to it, so I like that. Let's move on to the next comment. Comes from Mr. Sneaky Sneak. I think when you join a game of Gun Master, you should automatically start with the same gun that the lowest person in the game has. Well, not sure if that's going to work out, Sneaky Sneak, because some people like me, I join a game and I'll sit there in the menu for a couple of minutes while I'm looking at my PC or playing on my phone or doing something before I actually get into the game. So people like me would probably screw you, so I would be in the game but I would still have a pistol, so it wouldn't help you at all. And also, what if you come in and it's at the very end of the game and then you get a knife, and so then you knife somebody and you win the game just because you just joined at the last second? Not sure that one's going to work out, but nevertheless, thanks for the comment. We go to Reggae Pandaland. I think bumping up the player count would pretty much solve the rest of your problems. You'd run into enemy players more often with less chance of your teammates getting in the way, and it'd be easier to pick up kills with lower tier weapons since they're more likely to creep up on a guy. More players. I agree with you, Reggae. I think that's one option. I'm not sure if it's something that's realistic at this point. You know, I don't know. I haven't heard DICE say why they stuck with 16 players or if they're able to bump it up, but definitely would like to see the ability for server admins to bump up that player count just to see how it works. And then Fred, the bin man, the Red Dragon, I don't know if you still do BF3 tutorials, but if you do, could you please do one on reloading? I reload way too often and I can't reload cancel fast enough when I have more than enough rounds in the clip to kill someone. Please. Oh, I honestly, Fred, I have the same problem. So I'm a big OCD reloader, and it's just something you got to work on. You really can't teach that. I try to work on it, but a lot of times if I try to not reload, then I run into times where I don't have enough bullets in the gun in order to finish up the job, so that sucks. Alright, so here is the gun that everybody hates, the grenade launcher, because it is delayed once it fires. But you'll notice that I was just launching grenade after grenade after grenade into that one area because I knew that's where the enemies pile up. So that's a good area. Anywhere where you know where enemies are going to be, just keep on firing and just spam grenades and hope for the best. You know, that's the best advice I have for the grenade launcher right there. Kamikaze Kid says 16 players, 4 squads of 4. Everyone in the squad advances when the lead player goes up. So the SMG guy kicks ass, goes on and on and on. So he's pretty much saying squad deathmatch, making like squad deathmatch, which isn't a bad idea. So you would rank up together, but you're in a tighter space, so that gives you more enemies to play with, and that way you could potentially keep it at 16 players and still work with it. So good idea there. I actually saw that suggestion a lot yesterday, so a lot of people are thinking a squad setup style gameplay would work well with that. And here we go, Native Parkour. Hey Red Dragon, first reply here, long time fan. While I usually like most of your opinions, I have to call the newbie card on this one. Teams in Gunmaster adds challenge and also keeps the mode under control. The extra challenge racing against your team for the most fastest kill. It's perfect for CS Call of Duty converted players to run a gun. If every man were themselves, the matches would probably go extremely fast and too hectic on close quarters. So there you go. Not everybody agrees, but that's all right. Thanks for the comment. And Big Willie Smooth 1 will end with this. Looks like BF3 just copies everything Call of Duty has. Well, Big Willie, you should go read Wikipedia. Counter-Strike actually started gun game. Check it out. Thanks for watching. I'm the Red Dragon. Comment, like, subscribe.